My twin brother slept with my fiancé just weeks before our wedding, so I made sure everyone knew about his true colors. My name is Michael, and my life felt like a perfect dream. Emma and I have been together for wonderful years, engaged and preparing for marriage. We were soulmates, connected deeply through shared dreams and aspirations. Our love felt unbreakable, something truly special. Family was central to my life, a bond one valued deeply, especially with my identical twin brother, Ryan. Though physically identical, we couldn't be more different. I was a quieter, introverted twin, deeply committed to family life, while Ryan thrived on the thrill of bachelorhood, successful yet restless, always craving something more. Our engagement party was a joyful celebration. Friends and family gathered at our home, spirits flowing freely. Laughter echoed everywhere, making it a night to remember. Or so I thought. Emma, overwhelmed by alcohol, excused herself to lie down. I was equally intoxicated, passing out shortly afterward on the living room sofa, completely unaware that the evening would irrevocably change our lives forever. As I lay oblivious, Ryan quietly slipped into our bedroom, intentionally deceiving Emma by pretending to be me. Emma, disoriented by darkness and alcohol, believed she was sharing intimacy with her fiancé. Ryan took advantage of her vulnerability, fully aware of the pain his actions would cause. The darkness hid their identities, yet nothing could mask the deep betrayal that had just begun. The morning brought horrifying clarity. Ryan, casually mentioning details of the night, revealed his identity to Emma, shattering her sense of safety and trust. Her panic was immediate, fear and confusion clouding her judgment. Terrified of losing me, Emma made a tragic decision, choosing silence and secrecy. This betrayal, deeply buried, would later unleash devastating consequences on all our lives. Emma and Ryan forged a tenuous pact, both agreeing to hide the devastating truth. Unaware, I remained blissfully ignorant, my dreams of marriage untouched, trust unbroken. Yet secrets are ways of unraveling lives, and the emotional toll of deception began silently corroding Emma from within. Guilt and anxiety plagued her, a haunting reminder of the betrayal that had quietly taken root, destined to emerge eventually with explosive consequences. A few weeks after our engagement party, Emma announced she was pregnant. Ecstatic, I embraced her, my dreams of family becoming reality. Yet, beneath Emma's smile lay a secret torment, a truth she desperately concealed. Ryan's behavior shifted subtly. Strange remarks, veiled jealousy, and inexplicable tension emerged between us. My unease grew, yet I dismissed it, attributing Ryan's behavior to typical sibling rivalry, unaware of the devastating truth hidden just beneath the surface. Days turned into weeks, but my unsettling feeling grew stronger. Ryan's behavior persisted, his subtle hints increasingly distressing. Friends reassured me, dismissing my fears as baseless jealousy from Ryan. Yet, despite reassurances, my intuition warned me persistently. The once clear bond between Ryan and me now seemed tainted by some unseen force. Deep within, I felt something deeply wrong, though its nature remained frustratingly elusive. One evening, I overheard Emma speaking secretly on the phone, her voice strained and desperate. She pleaded with Ryan to remain silent about the pregnancy, her anxiety unmistakable. Shock and dread filled me instantly. The fragments of conversation I'd heard unraveled the truth painfully. My world shattered, the betrayal becoming painfully clear. Emma and Ryan's secret now stood exposed, destroying my trust, hope, and dreams in an instant. Heart pounding, I confronted Emma directly. Her initial denials quickly crumbled under pressure, giving way to tearful admissions. The extent of the betrayal, the night of deception, the hidden pregnancy, devastated me emotionally. Emma pleaded for forgiveness, her regret palpable. Yet her tears couldn't erase the pain of betrayal. My dreams of love and family, now irreparably shattered, left me heartbroken and profoundly betrayed. During a tense family dinner, my emotions finally exploded. I confronted Ryan publicly, exposing the truth of his betrayal. Family members reacted in shock and disbelief, tensions erupting fiercely. Ryan's defiance and Emma's remorse clashed, tearing apart family bonds and friendships. Amid the painful chaos, the depth of betrayal emerged clearly, leaving our family fractured and deeply scarred by deception. After the explosive confrontation, my emotions plunged into turmoil. The betrayal cut deeply, leaving me confused and devastated. Trust, something I'd valued profoundly, now felt impossible. Sleepless nights consumed me, thoughts of betrayal dominating every waking moment. Friends tried offering comfort, but nothing alleviated my internal conflict. Questions lingered painfully, with no clear answers. How could my brother betray me? How could Emma, the woman I trusted completely, deceive me? Memories from childhood resurfaced vividly, exposing the root of Ryan's deep jealousy. Our lifelong rivalry, often hidden beneath brotherly affection, suddenly felt sinister. Ryan had always envied my stable life, secretly resenting my happiness. Recognizing this pattern was profoundly painful, highlighting clearly how jealousy had driven Ryan's devastating actions. My own twin, the one person I'd always trusted implicitly, had betrayed me out of petty rivalry and envy. The pain from the betrayal pushed me toward isolation. I withdrew emotionally, sinking deeper into despair and depression. My work suffered dramatically, concentration nearly impossible. Concerned friends intervened, insisting on counseling. Therapy sessions became my lifeline, gradually offering insights into my emotional turmoil. Slowly, coping strategies emerged, offering small yet meaningful victories in my ongoing emotional struggle. Emma frequently reached out, desperately pleading for forgiveness. Her messages, filled with remorse and regret, tugged at my heart painfully. Though deeply wounded, I recognized her suffering. Despite understanding her regret, reconciliation remained impossible. My trust was irreparably shattered. Each attempt she made only deepened my sadness, reinforcing clearly how devastating her actions had destroyed our once beautiful relationship. Family relationships strained heavily under betrayal's weight. My parents, torn between their sons, struggled profoundly. Ultimately, they distanced themselves from Ryan, devastated by his actions. Interactions became tense, filled with emotional complexity and pain. Family dinners ceased, replaced by awkward silences and emotional divides. The betrayal had irreparably fractured bonds, leaving our family profoundly wounded and uncertain how to heal. Determined to find peace, I continued therapy, delving deeply into emotional scars. Each session provided clarity, gradually helping me understand myself better. Facing betrayal honestly was emotionally taxing but deeply necessary. I learned to accept my emotions openly, confronting pain rather than suppressing it. This journey toward emotional healing was difficult, yet each small step forward brought renewed hope and inner strength. Further revelations emerged, uncovering Ryan's manipulative past. Friends and former partners revealed shocking truths about his destructive behavior, confirming he'd long engaged in deceitful patterns. Understanding this pattern validated my experiences profoundly. Realizing Ryan's actions weren't personal attacks but rooted in his own flawed character offered some relief. It didn't erase the pain, but it provided perspective, easing self-doubt and internal turmoil. Channeling my pain positively became essential. New hobbies like writing and photography offered comfort and healing. Professionally, I regained focus, achieving notable career advancements. My growth was noticeable, friends commenting positively about my renewed confidence. Each day brought emotional improvement, reinforcing clearly that personal strength and self-respect had emerged powerfully from the depths of betrayal. Ryan's social isolation deepened, friends and family openly distancing themselves. Seeing him suffer brought minimal satisfaction. Instead, sadness dominated, the reality of broken family bonds painfully clear. Ryan's attempts at reconciliation were futile, his reputation permanently damaged. Witnessing his downfall was bittersweet, reinforcing clearly that betrayal and deception ultimately harmed everyone involved, leaving deep scars that could never fully heal. Gradually, genuine happiness returned. New friendships blossomed, relationships deepened authentically, and life regained balance. Trust became possible again, though cautiously and selectively. I learned profound lessons from betrayal, understanding clearly the value of trust, emotional honesty, and genuine connections. Though the past had scarred me deeply, the future offered genuine hope and potential. Embracing life positively, I moved forward, stronger and emotionally richer than ever before. On to the next story. My girlfriend cheated on me before my wedding, saying she wanted to experience living the rich life with a boss, so I showed her what she'll be missing. I never imagined it would happen like this, not to us, not after 5 years of building a life together. Elise and I were engaged, ready to promise forever. She worked tirelessly at an influential investment firm under Richard Langston, a man of immense power and wealth, whose very presence commanded attention and respect. Elise often mentioned him casually, laughing as she showed off extravagant gifts and pay raises she regularly received, joking about how Richard clearly had a crush on her. I laughed along, never taking her seriously, my trust unwavering. We had a small place in the city, nothing fancy, but it was ours. Mornings were filled with coffee rituals, shared Spotify playlists, and lazy breakfasts on Sundays. We talked about honeymoon destinations and baby names, about mortgage rates and new furniture. I thought we were a team. I thought we had each other's backs. I thought I knew her. Until that night, she kissed me softly, murmuring about working late. Don't wait up, she said. I chuckled and said, don't work too hard. Sleep took me swiftly, secure in our plans and promises. But as dawn broke, an empty bed greeted me. Panic surged as unanswered calls and ignored texts stacked up, hours ticking away like small torches. The front door finally clicked open late in the morning. Elise walked in as though nothing had happened, casually dropping a bag onto the couch. Are you okay? I was worried, my voice strained with fear. I'm fine, she replied calmly, her voice detached. I spent the night with Richard. Confusion and disbelief gripped me. Excuse me. She looked straight into my eyes, her expression oddly indifferent. I went out with Richard, stayed in his hotel suite. I just wanted to experience that luxurious life once before we get married. Those words struck deeper than any physical blow, instantly fracturing my reality. My knees weakened. Something inside me shattered irreparably. I stayed, speechless, as Elise casually walked away without remorse. The days that followed were a blur. It started with numbness, then waves of agony I couldn't explain. Elise had no interest in reconciliation. She said we were different now, like we hadn't just spent half a decade building a life. She moved out a week later. Her parting words, "You'll find someone better for your lifestyle." Mutual friends tried to stay neutral. A few unfollowed her. Some unfollowed me. Lines were drawn in invisible ink. I deleted our photos, deactivated my accounts, and disappeared into myself. Nights were the worst. I'd lie awake, mind racing. What did he have that I didn't? Money? Power? Prestige? All the things I never thought mattered. I replayed our final conversation again and again. Was it a test? A mistake? Or had she always been this way, and I just refused to see it? The depression set in like a fog. Eating became optional. Sleep became impossible. My reflection was foreign. Bloodshot eyes, hollow cheeks, a shell of a man. I barely held on to my job. Deadlines slipped. Emails piled up. My boss, Greg, called me into his office after a particularly bad client presentation. "Jake, I don't know what's going on, but this isn't you. You've got one of the best technical minds in this company, but right now, you're drowning." That conversation was a turning point. Embarrassment mixed with something bitter, rage. Not just at Elise, but at myself for letting it consume me. I needed to dig myself out. I started going to the gym. At first, it was mechanical, an hour on the treadmill, a few squats, then home. But over time, I started looking forward to it. I meal prepped. I journaled. I forced myself to reconnect with coworkers. Little victories piled up. Then came the opportunity. A high-stakes project for a new tech client. No one wanted to touch it. I volunteered. I worked on that project day and night. The coding was brutal, the requirements constantly shifting, but I poured my soul into it. When we delivered ahead of schedule, the client was blown away. 2 months later, Greg called me in again. This time, it was a handshake and a new title, Lead Systems Architect. A 6-figure salary. My own office with a view of the city skyline. I celebrated alone that night. Steak and a glass of scotch. I stared out my window, remembering the man I'd been a year ago. The man Elise left behind. It didn't take long for the news to reach her. I hadn't spoken to Elise since the day she moved out. But mutual friends have big mouths, and success is a way of echoing. I got the first text a few weeks after my promotion. "Hey, stranger. Congrats on the new job. Proud of you." I didn't respond. Then came the DMs, the emails. Finally, a phone call. "Jake, can we talk? Please. Just once." Against my better judgment, I agreed. She came to my office. Her once vibrant glow had dimmed. Stress lines etched her face. Her eyes were soft, uncertain. "You look good," she said. "Really good." "Thanks. You too." We sat in silence for a beat. "I was stupid," she blurted. "I thought I was chasing something better. But it wasn't real. Richard, he didn't care about me. It was all surface. Shallow. I was a fling. Jake. Disposable. And now I see what I lost." I folded my hands. "You had someone who loved you, who trusted you, who believed in a future with you." "I know. I messed up." "No, Elise. You made a choice. A conscious one. And now I'm making mine." She wiped at her tears. "You won't even consider it? A second chance?" I stood. "I've moved on. You should too." As I walked her to the elevator, I felt peace. Not joy, not vengeance, just peace. The elevator doors closed. That chapter ended. I threw myself into new projects. My team grew. So did my responsibilities. I started mentoring new hires, speaking at conferences, even launching a small startup on the side. I traveled. I found joy again. And then there was Maya. She was everything Elise wasn't. Genuine, grounded, sharp-witted. We met at a tech event. Our first conversation lasted hours. She listened. She laughed. She challenged me. Dating felt foreign at first. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. But Maya was steady. She didn't play games. She respected boundaries. She had no interest in shallow affections. One evening, months into our relationship, she asked about my past. I told her everything. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. She listened. Not judging, just absorbing. When I finished, she simply said, "I'm glad you didn't let that define you." I smiled. For the first time in a long time, I believed it. Elise tried reaching out one more time. A letter this time. Handwritten. She wrote about regret. About missing me. About how she realized too late what love really meant. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I had healed. I had grown. I had found someone worthy of the man I had become. Some scars never fade. But they don't have to define you. They can remind you, strengthen you, and sometimes they can guide you home. What did you think of these stories? Let me know your thoughts about them in the comments, and thanks for listening.